The triumph of an American family is coming. Roots, the event of the year.
In 1977, Alex Haley's Roots aired on ABC for an 8-night history-making televised event. Nearly 40 years later, Kunta Kinte is returning to television on the History Channel with an all-star cast in tow. Yet even though the new version has been heavily promoted, with the glut of high-quality TV today, it seems likely to come and go with little fanfare. And so it can be easy to forget how big of a deal the original Roots was. Record-breaking ratings and Emmy sweeps aside, Haley's Roots absolutely permeated popular culture in a way no miniseries has since.
I met Alex Haley outside and I made the mistake of saying, "Alex, how's your family?"
And a huge response reflected just how complicated America's grappling with the history of slavery and race was at the time, and how complicated it remains today. After Roots first aired, there's a clear divide between the way shows with predominantly black casts responded when compared to white ones. Sanford and Son used Haley's quest to unearth his lineage as a launching pad for Fred's own personal quest to trace his roots.
You ought to do what that man did who wrote Roots. He traced his family back in order to find out who he was.
The comedy lies in what Fred discovers, which is that he's apparently the descendant of Jewish Ethiopians.
Fred, the full name is King Frederick G. Sanford, and the G stands for gefilte fish.
Likewise, on an episode of the diversely cast show Barney Miller, Detective Harris describes to Barney a similar feeling of lineal connection, but isn't initially forthcoming about what led him to want to do so in the first place.
This is it? Now, whatever gave you the idea to do a thing like that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I just got this urge, to find out about my past. To go back to my roots. You saw it too.
Some of it.
Producers of the miniseries were initially worried that they would be alienating their majority audience with a black show, but this scene shows how inescapable it became.
You descended from tribal rulers?
I mean, there's been talk to that effect.
It also satirizes the idea that Haley had many black people believing they were descendants of African royalty. In both cases, the shows explored how Roots inspired black people to connect with their genealogy. On the other hand, shows with majority white players were decidedly less nuanced. SNL, hardly known for its sharp commentary of race, especially in its early days, played Haley strictly as a crass, money-grubbing opportunist, using its one black star, Garrett Morris.
So he says, "We'll pay you $3 million. So I say, damn. If I ain't got a great-great-grandpa, I forgot all about it."
And then had two of its white stars, John Belushi and Bill Murray, playing Haley's African ancestors while speaking in jive.
No crazy cracker's gonna sell the son of a Mandinka warrior.
Not exactly a shining moment in SNL's history. The long-running British sketch show, The Goodies, was even worse. The show's 3 stars throw around dubious gags about the South and spend the last 15 minutes or so of the episode in blackface, in what one can only assume was a bizarre attempt at being subversive.
So what are you now?
I is one aggravated minstrel.
All it really does is offer a racist mockery of the idea that television would even seek to appeal to anyone who is not white. Roots would also find its way more fleetingly into on-screen dialogue, particularly as the go-to way for a non-black character to superficially connect to a black one.
Roots was my favorite TV show.
Oh, yeah, Roots, yeah, but the slavery filled me with shame.
Didn't you see Roots?
I loved Roots. Ben Vereen is a terrific dancer.
You better believe it.
Over time, our relationship with Roots changed. Yes, the original series remains a way for white people to assert their racially tinged cluelessness.
You know what character I love is that Kunta Kinte.
Kunta Kinte.
I don't speak it, but I enjoy the work.
Sometimes I watch Roots to remind myself how good I have it. Me too.
But it's also been more widely satirized by black people in contemporary pop culture. Most references today have now whittled Roots down to a single character.
Hey, it's Kunta Kinte!
Kunta Kinte himself?
Slavery days are over. My name ain't Kunta Kinte.
Out of the way, Kunta Kinte.
Who do you think you is, Kunta Kinte?
You lucky I ain't gonna do you like Kunta Kinte and chop off your foot.
You should have seen the year I was Kunta Kinte's foot.
Who are you supposed to be? Mrs. Kunta Kinte?
King Kunta, everybody wanna cut the legs off him. Kunta, black man taking no losses. Oh, yeah.
Kunta's endurance could be a testament to Haley's storytelling and myth-making prowess. The author spent over a decade touring and lecturing about his ancestry before Roots was even finished. Or perhaps to LeVar Burton's affecting performance in the role. It's probably a bit of both. Still, you'll notice that in this transformation, Kunta, and by extension, Roots, has become, in a way, American pop culture's default mode for all things related to slavery in Africa. Once a source of pride, the character in series now has more or less morphed into a punchline at best, and an insult at worst. More broadly, Roots' place in history has been challenged in light of revelations that Haley fabricated or misrepresented many aspects of his family's history. Its legacy is now fodder for jokes, as seen in Dave Chappelle's scathing imagining of the outtakes for Roots' 25th anniversary. While Roots was an undeniably groundbreaking series, its pop culture treatment showed its limitations. Haley's inaccuracies and the dated production are part of it, but 4 decades of parodies and punchlines suggest Roots' genealogical vision ultimately failed to demystify our country's racial history. Rather than a transformational series, Roots now looks like a product very much of its time.